Hello everyone. You might notice once again we are not in my forest garden, but we are in Sharon's food forest project. It's been about a year since I made a video here last, but after a long wet winter I'm back working here again up on top of the Mendip plateau. My place is about 5 or 6 miles that way to the north, and today is the 11th of April and Sharon is here with me. There she is, looking fine, and she's going to show us around to see how her 1 acre plot has survived the winter. So Sharon, if you will lead the way and take us in.
Right, here we go. So what's been nice today, Rob, is that you've been mowing the paths. So we've started to get the paths back because we've lost the paths quite a lot during the winter as the grass wasn't growing. So you can come through here.
Oh, that's a fine looking specimen. It's rhubarb.
That is a very happy rhubarb, isn't it? It's growing by the compost heap, and the compost heaps had mainly brown sawdust and straw on over the winter with some of the chicken waste.
That's something I don't have in my place as a compost heap. I tend to sort of like compost things in situ and make lasagna beds where I just pile things up and let them rot down. But I much prefer a compost pile because it's more labour intensive, but I think you get better results from it.
So now we'll start to get some more green to put on it this year.
But the pathways do look gorgeous, don't they? I mean, I've been doing these today. It's quite a lazy job really. It's not that hard manually, but I always say it's like framing a picture. Once you mow the paths, everything else looks intentional. So even if it's a terrible abstract piece of art, then it just makes it look like it's supposed to be there. So that's been the main job today.
It's good to have the paths back so we can now see what else is coming up, because we know not a lot apart from grass is growing on the paths, but we know that we've got lots of interesting things in the forest just off the paths, using the forest as a backdrop.
And speaking of interesting things, should we see what's going on over here?
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, it is gorgeous today, isn't it?
It's lovely. So we've got the pepper. Should we have a look at the pepper?
Is this the Szechuan pepper or the Chinese pepper? Well, they're both Chinese, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah, the shoots are coming back. I'm trying to chase you around to get you in it and you're following me. Where are you going?
So this is the pepper, beautifully mulched, Rob, by yourself.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we've got the other one over there as well. So this has got the membrane mulch underneath it.
Yeah, this is where we had a bit of a disagreement because you wanted to put membrane underneath, the plastic taram stuff, and mulch on top to keep the grass down, which will indeed work. But then I wanted to put cardboard down, which we've done on this one over here, because that means you can just leave the mulch where it is and the cardboard will rot and then go into the ground. Just less maintenance.
So we'll see how both of these do. But the good thing I think is that we're not letting the grass compete with the young tree. These trees will be really rather lovely and rather productive once they get going and give us lots of nice Szechuan peppers.
They will, and
you might think you can't grow in this country, but of course you can.
Of course, Szechuan pepper is more about the sweet than the heat, isn't it? I quite like black pepper. I've got Szechuan peppers growing, but black pepper is a different creature altogether, isn't it? It's like a low growing,
yes.
Like a ground cover almost. But you can grow that here as well, but in a polytunnel. Yeah,
well, that's for another day.
Indeed. Look at all your berries. So many berries.
The berries are doing really nicely.
Yeah, a bit like my place. It's almost like a fruit forest rather than a food forest, because fruit does so well in this sheltered environment, especially the berry bushes.
We could look at the mashua.
Ah, yeah, that's come back. I'm very fond of mashua, and we feared it hadn't survived the winter. Mashua is one of those things that's classed as a perennial, but I class it as a replant perennial because you either have to dig it all up in the winter and then replant what you haven't eaten, or just give it a really heavy mulch, but we did neither. And yet, it's come back. Look at that. You can tell it's related to the nasturtium family, can't you? It's nasturtium-like leaves. And you're supposed to get 4 crops from this. The leaves, then the flowers, and then the little aerial tubers that are called air potatoes, which is, I believe, what mashua means. That's the Latin name. pronounce that, Sharon?
I shan't try today.
Okay, I know it's a tuberosum. And then when the frost knocks back the top in the autumn, then you dig up the huge tubers like potatoes, but you can eat them raw if you want to. This is going to create ground cover all over this patch. I like to grow them up trees because they're a climber as well, but in this case it's going to kind of cover the ground.
And we've also got the ground cover raspberries here.
Oh yeah, the like Japanese wineberry or whatever they're called.
Yes.
Yeah, they're coming back through. It's interesting, I found they took probably 4 or 5 years to get going, but once they did get going they just went berserk and just covered the ground, and now they're unstoppable. I've got to contain them now. And the ducks, when I have ducks, love to go under them and eat all the slugs.
Oh, I look forward to this not being a bare patch of earth where the grass might invade it. And we've got over here the bunch onions.
Ah yes, at the moment they're bunched up in one place, but they will spread. Are these the Allium fistulosum? Welsh onions.
Let's see what this says. What does that say? Oh, Welsh onions.
Yes.
It doesn't say anything more than that. Yeah. So I've got more of those in a bed that I've been growing them in, and I shall transplant those into here. So there'll be a number of things here, but I guess this is the exception where there's a bit of fruit, but there's also some perennial vegetables.
Yeah, and some alpine strawberries growing wild and free.
Oh, well, we did move those from the garden.
Oh, we
early on.
did, yes.
Yes.
And what's going on over here? This is the Take a Chance bed where you've been growing different sorts of mints and strawberries.
Yes.
And I was just in the middle of some strimming or brush cutting or whippersnippering, depending where you're from, and just using the chop and drop method and savaging down all the weeds being unwanted plants that we didn't want, leaving the strawberries and the mints and also the borage. Look at that borage.
And the bee.
Bees love borage. It's incredibly nectar heavy and very good for all these early foraging bumblers. Is it true that the humble bumblebee is of the genus Bombus?
I'm not sure, but now I feel compelled to check.
I really hope that it is. It's almost onomatopoeic, isn't it? Bombus for a bumblebee.
Yes,
But
that's
I'm
probably it.
not sure. So this is surrounded by fruit trees that are just coming out into blossom. Various apples, and such like. There's a lot going on over here. Look at all these. It's difficult to see with my sort of roving camera work, but lots of currant bushes. There's an area that we put teram on. Is it called teram, or what do you call it? Weed suppressant barrier.
I call it membrane.
Membrane.
For no
Yes.
other reason.
Membrane. And there's some more rhubarb. But what are your plans for this area?
Well, not sure yet. The ground was disturbed there anyway when we were doing some work, so it's a case of keeping it clear while we work out what's next. I imagine allowing it to compost down for a couple of years and then giving it some thought. So we've got another couple of interesting things just growing around that. Of course, we've got the Japanese blood plum.
Blood plum?
Which didn't have any fruit last year.
I must have missed this one.
So this is the Japanese blood plum. No fruit when it went in first time last year, but let's hope it does something this year. It certainly had lots of flowers.
She's chasing me around again. I'm trying to get you in it.
Yeah, the Sutsuma blood plum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
Plum, 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 plum.
We've got a fig here.
Hello, figgy.
A fig. And a pineapple guava, which does quite well, but I'm not sure what the fruit's going to be like.
No, I don't have one of these. I've got some guava, but not some pineapple guava. But it's really interesting what one can grow in this country.
And in a forest environment as well.
Yeah, many people are quite purist and say it's not native, so I'm not growing it. But what actually is a native?
Well, that's changing a lot now, isn't it? With global warming, we start to see things growing here that would not have grown here 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I've always considered if it's not invasive and it grows without any extra assistance, then it's a native. But some people are so purist and say, well, the seeds didn't blow here 10,000 years ago on the wind, so it's not a native. But this pineapple guava clearly is doing well.
It has a function.
We're approaching 10 minutes, but shall we, Annika Rice style, run over to that west side of the garden and just have a quick look over there?
Yes.
Okay, after you. There was a wonderful soundscape, the backdrop just now, of sort of screeching geese and chickens and the occasional roar of a rhea. But now that vehicle's reversing and it's just beeping away, spoiling the ambience. Look at the go. Difficult to catch. It's also really good over here to actually see where we are on Mendip. The miniature city of Wells is down beyond that wind turbine as the Somerset levels. And over there we have Penhill Mast, shrouded in mist, true Howell's Moving Castle style. And then that way is my place. That is the south, isn't it? No, sorry, the north.
Yes, that's north.
North, yes. Yeah. So this is the west side.
Yeah, that's the west, that way.
West side of the garden. And what's going on in the west here? Lots of nuts, lots of hazelnuts I see.
Lots of hazelnuts, but as we said before, the squirrels get those before I do.
Yeah, we've got to be vigilant, haven't we? As soon as these squirrels start harvesting them, then they're ready for picking. We've got like a 24-hour window in which to get them. Yes. The nuts, not the squirrels.
And I found a whole host of nuts under some membrane that they've been hiding the other day, or nut shells rather. And here, this is where we've put a lot of currant bushes in. Through
the rubuses.
the woods, lots of rubus.
Hello, rubus. What have we got here?
That's a loganberry, is it?
Oh, it is, yeah, loganberry. Yeah. Or tayberry, depending where you're from. Or I think a tayberry is a kind of loganberry. But they are fantastic, and they have you had a fruit from this one yet? Has it fruited?
No, not last year. I only went in last year.
Yeah, they look a little bit like raspberries, and lots of people confuse them with raspberries, picking them when they're red. But with loganberries, you've got to wait till they're a really deep crimson colour, almost till they're rotten and squishy, and that is when you get the flavour. Because lots of people pick them when they're
yes.
like red, because they're used to raspberries, and they taste, oh, they're okay, but I'll take them or leave them. But wait till they're like rotting.
Yes.
Or not rotting, but like really squishy.
Often the time when they get more aromatic.
Yes.
Raspberries, as we've put raspberries in here to grow wild, so hopefully we'll get a lot of raspberries this year.
Yeah.
I'm doing well last year. And over here, not planted, but native, properly native, is going to be the wild garlic.
Ah, yes, the Ramsons.
The wild garlic is just coming up, and it always comes up with the bluebells, doesn't it? So it's that beautiful white and blue that you get. So yeah, you see it starting to come through here.
Oh yeah.
Amidst the nettles.
Oh yeah.
And
that's going to thrive in this semi-shady woodland environment, isn't it? That wild garlic.
And it does. Since we cleared the bramble from here, and then the bracken, it's given a chance for all these lovely bluebells and wild garlic to come through that were here anyway.
Yeah, and as long as we stay on top of the bracken, it's not going to really take over. We sort of contained it by mowing this strip. It's contained into this area.
Yeah. And then it comes and goes. We trim it when it's really up, and then it doesn't interfere with anything moving forward. A couple of old apple trees through here that have been here for a long time, I think. I think these are generally, that's a Bramley, and we've got another one further down, Beauty of Bath. It's a lovely apple, but it doesn't really store very well.
No, lots of the finer apples don't store that well, which is why they're not produced commercially.
Yes.
Well,
Unless back to the beginning, I think.
It does. Yeah, that's where we first came in. So we did a little loop-de-loop round here. Oh, thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Rob.
And let's try and do another video next month when things are really lushing up in the month of May. Thank you very much for watching, and see you maybe at my place next time, maybe here. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.